Hey, do we want to just run through, let each judge say hello? Intro? Or do you want to just use this slide? There we all are, lined up, looking nice on the slide. Okay, so this is your judging panel for this evening's event. And yeah, I want to wish everybody who's pitching tonight luck and lots of energy. I know it's not easy to do. So welcome everybody. I think Tate has managed to arrange a live stream as well. So welcome to anybody watching live. That's exciting. And it's all an innovative experiment. So if there's nothing else that you want to do first, Tate, I can introduce the first folks up pitching.
Sounds good.
Okay. So first step, we have a team pitching us a company they've developed over this past week called SI Talk, and it's around AI for speech impediments. And I'm going to invite to pitch here Elnaz Etminen and Madhyar Moladani.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Hi, hello, this is Elnaz speaking.
Hello, this is Madhyar.
Hi.
So, are you going to share the slides or?
Do you want us to start already? Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, let's share the screen. Or maybe actually let's share it. Maybe I should go just with the slide, not the screen. Sorry, I'm trying now.
That's okay. The technology never works in your favor when you're first.
Well, the same thing. So you're gonna be here, I guess. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Elnaz Etminen. I'm a grad student in mechanical engineering.
Hi everyone, my name is Madhyar. I'm doing my master's in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. My research interest is mainly on the application of AI on biomedical imaging and also solving the problem of automated diagnosis.
And my background is actually not only in engineering field, but since I've been teaching for more than 7 years now, and my students are aged from 6 to 60, I kind of know about communication, and that's why we believe communication is the key. I'm trying to go to the, yeah, there it is. We believe that communication is the key. If you want to learn something, you need to communicate. If you want to socialize, you still need to communicate. Even when you're seeking for help, you really need to communicate. And without good communication, life can be really miserable. And that actually is the case to some people. Well, I believe this might have happened to almost all of us. Then you might have been talking to someone, you couldn't understand them because they spoke unclear. Once I've been in the bus and gentleman started talking to me, I couldn't really understand what he was saying because his speech was kind of vague and the words were unclear. So I asked him, pardon me, sorry, could you please repeat that again? But after a while, I just gave up because I didn't want to hurt his feeling. And I started to nodding my head and smile, but then I realized he has been actually telling me a sad story and asking me several questions. And I was just like nodding my head and smiling. Imagine how inappropriate that situation was to me and to him. But what if it wasn't this? What if there was an app that I could just simply open it, that app could detect the audio, and then give me the text. Or he could use a gadget that he could talk to, and then the app for an audio, but this time with clear words and clear pronunciation, so I could understand. And then he really didn't need to shout at the boss and make other people, disturb. So that's what we are thinking of to come up with this device. We're thinking to come up with an app and a device, whatever they want to use. For this elderlies with kind of disease or disorders that makes them unable to speak clearly. For example, if they have dysarthria or cerebral palsy that makes them unable to speak clearly because the muscle in mouth is stiff or like weak. Or even apraxia. Here the muscle is fine, but then it's the neurological disorder they have. So they can speak, they know what they want to say, but they just cannot pronounce the word in the right way. It's really frustrating for them, and it even affects their mental health. We are thinking to help these people individually and help their clinics. So we want to provide them with this device and app we are working on.
So last year, thank you, Adnan. Last year, Google has published a research addressing the issue of speech impairments using AI. And actually, they demonstrate that AI is a perfect tool for trying to solve this issue and actually get the voice of these people with this disorder and try to make it clear. So motivated by that research, we've trying to addressing this issue and trying to filling the gap between research labs and the patients, so we could come up with a practical implementation of those ideas and try to giving them some gadgets that they can use. Most of those services are offered online, so the voices are recorded, then send it to those servers, the AI will solve the problem, and then the result will be come back to them. But we're thinking of offline app, so where the compact AI model could be there in their gadget, in their mobile app, so they could use it whenever they want without the necessary internet connection. And more than that, we are thinking of trying to using AI not only for creating the clear voice, but also creating a voice similar to the original voice of that person. So in that case, he could feel more confident, and it'll definitely improve his well-being and mental health situation and confidence. And also, as far as the hardware is concerned, we're thinking of delivering this model with different platforms. And so some people are confident and comfortable using smartwatches and mobile phones, but some of them, based on their situation, they're not really comfortable with using those devices. So we're thinking of even more customizable hardwares, and also being user-friendly is very important in this case, because we're working with elderly people with sometimes limited ability to work with complex systems.
Thank you, Matthew. As Matthew said, our hardware. In our hardware, we consider age, the disability itself, and then the application. So in that case, you're coming up with just app that can be installed on a smartwatch if they have already purchased that and they're good to use that, or their mobile phone, or it can be some microphone that we can actually mount it on their AirPods. Or if the situation is like horrors, you can provide them with some personalized mount that they can install it on the wheelchair or something like that. But what about the money making part? So as we said before, the target are both individuals and those healthcare clinics or like nursing home. At this point, we're not sure how many these individuals might be, but at the end of the story, there might be several thousands of them. So what we're working now is we're working on the AI model. For this part, we need to purchase the existing data sets, or we can come up with our own. but we probably will purchase one data set for one special disease to start with, and then we will train our AI model. This should be done somewhere in November, maybe late November. And then the next phase would be the software or app that we need to develop one, and then of course the maintenance and the update would be something regular that will never finish. But the development of the app might be done by December. And then the product phase, which can be the app itself, the wearable gadget, or personalized mount. You're thinking to first launch the app and just give access to several specific individuals and just one or two healthcare clinic to understand the problems with our system and to see the bugs of the system. After that, just about 1 or 2 months, and then we maybe can give public access. But the story is not finished here, since elderlies are not the only people in need of better communication. I have a coworker. She was telling me that his grandson is autistic, and she said that he has been to many therapists, but he can actually never learn how to speak clearly. So she was saying she can never understand the kid. He's 14 now, but she was kind of hoping that maybe we can come up with some apps or something for those kids too, because yes, we understand that kids can get better for special disorders, but some of them can never get better with going to therapists. Those kids really need better communication for their life ahead of them. And we are actually thinking to launch that phase 2 in the near future, hopefully. And thank you very much for all your time. We try to be as short as we can. I mean, I think it's 9 minutes now. And thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thanks, Elnaz and
Sure.
Madiyar. Thank you very much. I guess I was remiss at the beginning in not sharing with everyone else what the format is. So I believe the teams have been told they have 10 minutes. And Tate has his finger on the mute button if they run over, I think. And then we have up to 5 minutes for questions from our judging panel. And I realize here we are, not all in one room. So judges, feel free to speak up, or maybe I'll just roll call, run down the list. Any of our judges have a question, want to jump in?
I have one. So it's Rylan here. How big is your market, or how many people could potentially use this, or how big of a problem is this that you're trying to solve?
Right. The first phase would be just for maybe 100 or 200 people, but at the end of the story, it would be several thousand, of course, because there are different types of disorder and diseases. And as soon as we can get our AI model run, all we need is just data set, so we can go and collect it or purchase it. So there's actually no limit to the people. Everyone with speech impediments would be the target.
Okay.
I have a question as well. This is Rick. I am just kind of curious why you guys think you're uniquely positioned to be able to solve this problem, and why Google isn't just doing this themselves, considering they already have access to a lot of this data with a lot of their data sets and voice collection services.
Yeah, I think Matt, over that.
So yeah, actually, Google obviously has more resources than what we have right now. But there are some points here. First of all, lots of the data sets that Google are using are through open sourcing, and Google invites all the researchers to contribute here. But the point is, we're thinking of specifically, we're thinking of personalizing this system for specific diseases and target small groups at a time. So in that case, we're not thinking of a general model that could solve all the problems at once, but also we're focusing on each diseases and then try to customize our model in software and AI side, and also in a hardware side as a gadget, so we could serve them with the app or the hardware that they really need, and it's more comfortable for them. So there are lots of research will be around the condition, the physical condition and health condition of those individuals, which is I'm not sure if Google is right now addressing that. And also, since we've talked to nursing homes and different people, they really need this system to communicate with the individuals there and try to give them the perfect help and the care that they need.
All right, thank you. And to kind of follow that up, do either of you have experience with the developing hardware or developing commercial AI software?
Actually, I have experience working with AI models in different parts, from early development to even hardware implementation of those AI models in circuit level and gate level, and also compacting them through different methods like pruning. So actually, I have experience from the early development to hardware implementation, but for this type, we definitely need more research to do, and also trying to use all of this knowledge and also research more in order to come up with this practical implementation as a wearable gadget.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hey, this is Mike here. I think you can hear me. Do we have time for another question, Alex? Yeah, all right. So the idea is an app or some sort of hardware to help with communication, but I couldn't actually understand what the end result is going to look like. So if this were a mobile app, let's say, what does the application actually do? Yeah. So maybe you could explain me through this slide, or is it just kind of tapping on a button on the screen and it says the word for you?
That's a great question. Thank you, Mike. Actually, we have this slide here. It's a high level illustration of our model. So first of all, the speaker speaks to the mic. The voice will be recorded. Then we have the signal processing unit. Some analog pre-processing will be happen. And then in our AI model, first of all, we have a block. It's a speech-to-text block. This is the core of the system. So the input is the speech and the voice of the person with speech impairments. And then the output is the text, but the clear text and with the clear words. Then we are thinking of even addressing another disorder, which is grammatical disorder. Some of it's kind of different from this, but we foresee this here as well. Some people has this neurological problem that's they use grammar in a wrong way. So here we have a natural language processing unit as well, which will reorder the words in the way that we have it correct grammatically. And then we have another AI powered block. It's text to speech, which is trying to create a voice of that words, the pronunciation, but naturally. And then one of the novelties here is that StyleGAN block at the end. We are taking the characteristics of the voice of that person, and then we're translating that voice to that domain, so the voice looks like the same pitch and the same accent of the person itself. And then as the output, we have that voice. So the input is the recording of the speaker, and the output will be the clear and accurate voice of that person.
Just one comment here. It can also be the text itself. So if you want the text as an output, then you can go with the text too.
Yeah, of course.
That's optional. Right.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks everybody. I think by my watch, that's our time for questions. Tom, we'll let you go first next time.
Sounds good.
Thanks. There's Tom. There's
Thank
Tom.
you.
He didn't ask
Thank you
a
very
question
much.
yet. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. unless I hear anything from Tate or others, we'll move on to the next pitch.
Hi, Alex. I do have a last-minute curveball. So Nelson, he's actually in Vancouver right now. Said he had some trouble with internet connection. So we'll push him to the last, and then everyone else will move up for 15 minutes.
Perfect. That's no curveball for me on my list. I hope it's no curveball for everybody else who's getting their slides ready. Okay, so that puts up next, coming to pitch, Dawson Bacon and Jay Shaw, and they're going to talk to us about their venture, Kobo, which is an interactive entertainment platform. So Dawson and Jay, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. I'll just share my screen.
All right, you're good to go there, Jay.
Okay, you can see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, my name is Jay Shaw. I'm a fourth-year computer engineering student, and right now I'm actually on a 16-month internship. In the past, I do have some business experience. When I was 15, in 2015, I started a custom apparel company, and from 2016 to 2020, it was profitable.
And my name's Dawson Bacon, and I am a fourth-year electrical engineering student, and I'm also currently on my 16-month internship. And so in the past, I have successfully ran a couple of businesses before, focusing mainly on hands-on work. So I ran a detailing company for a little while and just minor construction. So a little background about how we came to be. Earlier this year, we assembled a team of about 4 people, and we just basically started taking ideas and evaluating them against each other and really just seeing what we could come up with. And so we came up with the idea, or with all the categories that we evaluated were feasibility, market size, how much we're going to enjoy the problem we're solving, and just a bunch of others. In total, there was about 20 other categories that we were really comparing against. And so the idea that we're presenting today is one that we thought was going to be the best.
So we want to present to you Kobo. Our goal is to connect fans with artists and bands.
Yeah, so let me try and run a problem by you. I know it affects probably about 80% of our listeners right now, so hopefully it's relevant. And the problem that we find is basically we'll come to a concert and there's an opening act usually at the concert followed by a main act. Opening act, really, they're so hard and they are awesome. They are just put on a great show every time. But the issue that we run into is about 2 hours later, once the main act is done, you're sitting there trying to rack your brain and remember who actually played. So it's needless to lose that fan for that artist. So we are just trying to keep that from happening. So what we have to do is we talk to the band, we find out what do we need. So we get their set list, we get kind of all their links to their streaming platforms, all their social medias, basically everything we could possibly need. And then as a fan, what happens, if you look at our little diagram in the middle there, you'll get at this stage a message on your phone, has a link, go to that link. It has basically who played, what played, where to go to stream them, get their merchandise, get everything you could possibly need, so that we've now generated a second interaction for the fan without them forgetting.
So we did some market research, and to do this, we talked to 120 people that have been to concerts. So we asked them, have they been to a concert, and did they like the opening act? And 79% of people said yes. So then we asked them that, have they ever found or had trouble remembering who the opening act was? And so out of that 120, 87 people said yes, which is about 72% of our surveyors. So that 72% is our market.
And so I've been fairly fortunate. I've got to speak with a bunch of artists and bands, and basically, and I guess on top of that, a couple of guys in the music tech space. And basically, like, I was very fortunate. I got to talk to Danny Oliver. He's a singer-songwriter from Regina. And talking to him, just a quick quote from him. He said, every artist is going to want this. There's not going to be a single one that doesn't see the value in increasing their social media profile. And they understand the power it has. And then another guy I got to talk to, he's the ex-band manager for names like Brett Kissel, the Joyner Brothers, and a couple other big names. And he basically says, well, you know what? Your idea's got merit, your solution's got merit. So as long as you can execute, this is going somewhere.
So if we look at the market size, these stats are from Live Nation Entertainment. They're a huge concert promotion company. And last year, they sold about 500 million tickets worldwide through their 40,000 concerts. And the incredible thing is they only have a 40% market share worldwide. So these stats represent 40% of the global market. And when we were talking to the ex-manager of Brett Kissel, what he proposed and what we agree with is that we would charge bands per concert a $100 fee plus a small fee of 25 cents per notification sent. And so what that means in terms of the market is if we look at the 40,000 concerts, that's a combined $4 million in flat fees plus $125 million in notification fees. Now, obviously, we're not going to enter this whole market globally all at once. So what we're going to focus on is the small concerts for now. So we're going to prove our concept and do a proof of technology, really, so that large concerts and large bands are willing to use what we have for their concerts. And so our goal is to, through small concerts, we want to get $1 million of revenue in the next 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, and so as far as a customer goes, we have three main options. We can either look at the venues, we can look at the managers and the independently managed artists, or we can look at the fans, because those are kind of the three people generating revenue for this industry. But what we feel would be the best customer for us is the managers and independently managed artists, because yes, we need to provide a seamless experience for the fans. Yes, the venues need to be supplied. But at the end of the day, as long as you provide that seamless experience, it will be the managers and the independent artists that really benefit in the end. So the $1 million question, why will we specifically succeed? Well, I believe the reason is because we are the consumer. We've been to these concerts. I've seen opening acts that I've loved. I've watched the 2-hour show and I've forgotten them. And I don't know about you, but if I forget something like that, it's super frustrating. So I believe because we're the consumer, we understand what they need and we think we can do this. But that is all coupled with the fact that we have the skill set, we have the motivation, and we have a network that we are able to fix this problem.
So if we look to the future, even though we're focusing on just the set list idea for now, we want to expand beyond that when we can. So our ultimate goal is to expand into these 4 areas. And why we chose these 4 areas is because they represent the entire ecosystem of live concerts. So if you imagine it from a band perspective, first what they need to do is they need to promote their concert, which is done through social media. Next, they need to sell tickets. Then during the concert, people want to have a good experience. So that's where we want to provide new technology so they can have an interactive experience so that after the concert, the fans will get a set list sent to them. So these 4 steps combined basically represent the before, during, and after concert markets. But for now, we're just going to focus on the set list. And in the short term, our upcoming milestones are to use our technology at our first concert next month. By the end of the year, we want to use it at 5 concerts. And in the meantime, right now, we're just using a website which has this information. So we're going to refine the technology, refine the idea, so that early next year, we can start developing an app, which will hopefully be released by mid next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So like always, you have to look at who is your competition in this market. And we feel our biggest competitors are Setlist.fm and Shazam. So starting with Setlist.fm, what they do is basically they are a wiki service that as a user, you go and you upload the songs of the concert you've been to. And essentially that's what they do. But the problem is that they're hard to use because it's a wiki and they're inaccurate, they're old, and you really don't know. Like if I'm going to a concert in Saskatoon, the chances I find that concert on Setlist.fm are so slim because our population just isn't there. So then our other option is Shazam. So Shazam isn't quite directly, but they are an alternative to what we would be trying to do. So basically, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a seamless experience for those fans. What Shazam could do is you will look at your Apple Watch, look at your smartphone, whatever, and it will listen and it will come up with the song that's being played at that moment. But the issue is with that, it's going to take you of the experience. You're not in the moment anymore. And you have to remember to do it. So Overall, we believe our difference is going to be that we have a seamless experience, we'll have dependability on our side, we're going to constantly innovate. So when we look at our possible exits, well, we'll look at our two main competitors. So let's look at Shazam, for example. Well, in 2017, they were bought out by Apple for $400 million. And at one point, they were worth a lot more than that, but we still can use it as a comparator for what is the potential out there. Setlist.fm, the other option, they were merged with Live Nation in 2012. Unfortunately, a lot of that information was kept under wraps and really hard to access. But what we do know is that Live Nation is a $12 billion company today. And so we can safely assume that that merger went fairly successfully.
So using seed money and what we want is seed money and mentorship. And what the seed money would be used for is it wouldn't be used in the next few months. We would save it until we're ready to start developing the app next year. So until our idea is refined using the website, and also towards initial operating expenses. And we would also like mentorship for going forward. I think it would really help us. Any questions?
So thanks, Dawson and Jay. It's Tom. I'll start things off. I have a question related to your customer acquisition. Can you explain a little bit more about how you're going to acquire your customers and what you think the cost of acquisition is going to be for your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll take this one if that's all right, Jay.
Sure.
Basically, in order to acquire customers off the bat, we are very aware of the fact that we are going to need the artists to push for us. But the reason we think that we're going to do that is because they are paying for our service and our service is for them. So if they push for us and then they promote our services at their concert, it means more success for them as well. So as far as customer acquisition costs, we're going to have to dive into that number a little bit more yet. We don't have a solid number on that one. However, off the bat, we believe most of our numbers are going to be coming from marketing.
Tom, do you have a follow-up?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just jump in with a follow-on a little bit on Tom. So you talked about, or what I heard in your answer was how you would get that artists would help you get users, get fans to use. They'll push that to their fans. But I think that your market thesis is that it's the artists and the managers who are actually your customer, right? So
that's right. Yeah.
What's your plan? Yeah. What's kind of go to market look like? How do you access those customers?
I can take this one again.
Sure.
At this point, what I've been doing is basically just independently reaching out any way I can through social media, through emails that I get, and I just reach out directly to the customer, so fans in this case or managers, and I see if they're interested, and that's how I got to know all these people I've been fortunate enough to talk with. And every time I talk to one of them, I say, "Hey, do you have anybody in particular that this can provide value to?" And they usually give me a couple more people that I can reach out to.
Okay. Rylan, Rick, Mike, anyone?
How many of your customers, so not the fans, have you talked to? Like you mentioned a couple of them there, but is that 2 or 3, or is there 50 of them that you've gone to, and have any of them said no or provided any problems for this?
So out of how many customers? Probably about 15, 20 potential customers in general. I don't think we've had a single person say no. What we have had is a couple people not reply. But for the most part, we do have in person. Just they understand that we're students. They seem to be willing to converse with us for that reason.
Good.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thanks. So your eventual solution is to have your own mobile app. Is that correct?
Yeah, in the near future.
Why do you think that you actually need that? Like, wouldn't it be easier to just focus on having your customer be the artist and deliver your solution through text message or email? and then just focus on the content generation, the playlist sharing and auto generation on Spotify or Apple Music, and then maybe even just the automated recap of the experience just based on what people share publicly on social media and stuff like that. I think you could probably make a pretty efficient solution just based on web apps and some cloud-based things, and kind of skip the whole mobile app thing, which is probably where you're going to face the most resistance in terms of getting users anyways.
That's right. So our goal right now is, well, what we are doing is the website contains all the information like the set list and access links to the playlist, as well as a link for the user to enter their phone number so they can get a text. So we're kind of doing that right now. And our goal is to have the website go alongside the app. So both of them would kind of provide the same features, and it's an optional choice of if they want to use the website, they can, and that has all the information. If they want to download the app, which would be helpful towards the next step if we expand towards that interactive part, then that's where more the app part would be useful towards.
Okay, folks, that's 5 minutes by my clock. That's almost my only job, other than thinking of smart questions and watching the clock. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dawson and Jay.
All right, thanks everybody.
Tate, well, I'll move on to the what is group number 4, I guess, here then. So yeah, coming up, we're gonna hear from Andrew Talent, Nicholas Cole, Brandon Spink, and Mitchell Bigelow. I don't know if all 4 of you are here, but I look forward to it if you are. And they're going to be talking to us about their company, Novita Medical Innovations. So guys, take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the introduction there. Yes, we are all in the chat today. I'm Andrew. Nick, you'll hear him speaking in a minute, and we do also have Brandon and Mitch in the chat. They won't be presenting any of the slide content, but you may hear their voices during some of the Q&A period. So don't be alarmed there. They're friendly people for sure. Yeah, can you hear and see me okay, everyone? Okay, perfect. And Nick, you're all good to go there too? All righty. Okay. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. We are Novita Medical Innovations, and we exist for one singular purpose, and that is to innovate and revolutionize the medical device industry. Now, in order to accomplish that really large task, we need a team, and our team is as follows. So like I'd mentioned, Brandon Spink, he's a Bachelor of Commerce graduate and a current medical student, as well as Nick Cola, who will be joining the graduate team there at the end of the spring here. These two bring a wealth of entrepreneurial experience. Both myself and Mitch Bigelow are recent mechanical engineering graduates as of last May, and we have a background in medical device design. We were part of a capstone project that designed a lung biopsy tool. So we strongly believe that with this team, we're able to tackle a lot of problems and solve a lot of solutions here. So I'm going to pass things along to Nick to talk about our journey so far.
Yeah, so it all started off with Brandon and myself actually working for Innovation Enterprises through a program called Summer Entrepreneurship. This is where we were first introduced to the project that we're currently working on. After about only a month in, we were let go from the program because of loss of funding. But despite this, we decided we had to continue with this project as we believe there's a ton of potential with it. So then we ended up bringing on our friends Andrew and Mitchell, and we started right away. So what we ended up doing was reaching out to several mentors that we had met through the SE program, and we actually incorporated in early July. After incorporating, we began talking with the university again to see what exactly we need to do in order to gain control of this intellectual property and move it forward through development. And so I'd like to dive into the background and context of the problem that we were trying to solve. This problem is directly associated with ventral hernia repair surgery and specifically the spatula tool. But I'll start off by giving some more information about what a hernia is and how the surgery is actually performed. So what a hernia is simply intestines pushing through the abdominal wall, creating a bulge. This can range in size from 5 to 20 centimeters in diameter. How is a hernia surgery performed? Well, currently there's two separate procedures. There's laparoscopic and open hernia technique. We are focusing on the open hernia technique. And with this technique, you need to first place this and secure the surgical mesh inside of the abdomen. This will be done using a suture passer as well as a needle in coordination with the tool that is known as the spatula. And so we're looking to actually improve upon this process. So the problem, essentially, the root cause of the problem is the inefficiencies associated with using the spatula. So this device requires at least 2 separate physicians to coordinate each pass of the suture for up to 42 separate puncture sites for just one surgical mesh and one surgery. Each puncture site has a potential to cause a bowel perforation, which will result in immediate abortion of the surgery. The spatula has been used since the 1890s, which, as you can see, that's kind of a long time for a lack of development in this type of surgical space. So what it is that we're actually trying to do is create a solution that improves the surgery and the potential success rate of the surgery. And so what our solution involves is actually a foldable retractor that sits underneath the surgical mesh, removing risk of missing the spatula, which with the suture passer. And so what this actually does is cut the surgical time by about 1/3. It only requires one physician to perform the surgery, and it also greatly decreases the risk of complications. And these claims are supported by Dr. Luo's original animal studies. And so with this added value, it will save 1 hour per surgery, which can equate to around 20 hours over the course of a year for one physician. It'll save a lot of cost in the hospital for only requiring one physician, as well as less time to perform the surgery. And this also trickles down to reducing the risk of complications during the surgery itself, therefore shortening the patient's recovery time by 7 to 14 days in hospital. And now I'd like to pass it back to Andrew, who will talk more about the market opportunities of such a medical device.
Thanks so much, Nick. So with a great product like this, how do we know that there's actually a market for it? Well, this slide here shows the open hernia repair fixator market around the world. Now, what do I mean by the fixator market? Well, this is actually the surgical tools that are used during the actual open hernia surgery. And in 2018, that market was valued at $422 million and is expected to grow to about $490 million by 2023. This is largely due in part to the rising geriatric population around the world, as well as the increased adoption of using mesh during the surgery, as well as the increased adoption of this open technique that we explained earlier. Now, why does this really matter though? Well, with 805,000 surgeries happening worldwide, this gives us a really large total attainable market. Too large right now, but we're going to be drilling down into the North American market in particular. This is where we hope to gain a majority of our sales. But as of right now, our target market is Canada in particular, valued at around $61 million. This is where we hope to gain a majority of our sales early on. Specifically, the most attainable market for us right now, just due to the resources that we have, is Saskatchewan, with the beachhead market between $1 and $3 million. Now, how this relates actually to the price of our product is we're hoping to charge between $50 and $150 per unit. While we don't know exactly what the price is going to be, what we do know is that there's about 2,000 to 4,000 surgeries every year here in Saskatchewan, with about 87 surgeons that are capable of doing that procedure. Now, we do understand that there's a lot of problems with this top-down market research approach, which is why we've started reaching out to the surgeon network here in Saskatchewan and interviewing them and questioning whether they would use a product like this and how much they would pay for a product like this. And that's why we believe our product price point to be certainly competitive within North America right now. So moving on here, how do we create value as a company? What's our business model? Well, there's actually quite a few players in the open hernia repair surgery market. These players do a lot of R&D, but they mostly have manufacturing capabilities, marketing and distribution channels, as well as a really strong customer base. Now, these customers may not be who you're thinking of. They're not actually surgeons, but rather hospital procurement committees. And these committees are responsible for getting all of the equipment that's in a hospital, everything from big MRI machines all the way down to rubber gloves. And these committees are heavily influenced by the end users, which are the physicians and the specialists, sometimes even the patients. If a physician wants a particular tool, the hospital procurement will buy it more often than not, regardless of price. Where does Novita fit into this? Well, we're going to start at the top of the value chain. We possess arguably the most valuable part of this, which is the license and patent rights to this technology. We hope to do the R&D work so that we're able to eventually sub-license to one of these bigger players. I'm going to throw things back over to Nick to talk about our plan going forward, though.
Yeah, so what is our plan? I'd like to start off by first talking about what we accomplished here in the past 6 months. So we actually we settled a license agreement with the university, as well as we're looking to bring this technology to the G495 capstone space to further develop its potential by looking at reevaluating the problem and working with other physicians within the Saskatoon area. And so with that, we are looking to create also a clinical team that we can further take it through clinical trials, as well as find that sub-licensee that will actually take it to the sales portion where we can collect our royalties on the device. After that, we look to just acquire new talent, as well as find new projects to further develop and innovate with.
So why do we need you as part of our company? Well, we've worked hard to develop an advisory team. This has included people that have helped us secure a really good license with the university, as well as individuals like Dr. Luau that have helped us better understand the end user and best achieve good product development. Dr. Luau has actually done 2 animal studies that were mentioned before, and he's also agreed to help kickstart our clinical trials by volunteering his time as best he can. People like Dr. Luau are what's most valuable to us right now because that helps us better understand how our product will be used. But we've also developed we've also had a good group of legal assistants that's helped us both understand the business and patent space and help evaluate our risks there. Of course, we're always looking for more people to help us move in the right direction, so this could be you. What we're asking for specifically tonight is money for further product development. We're looking to buy materials and start building prototypes for our clinical trials, which can be capital intensive. Specifically, we're also looking for an engineering technical advisor, as well as some people that can provide some general mentorship help. That concludes our pitch for this evening, and we'll now take any questions if there are some. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks very much, Nick and Andrew. Great pitch. Who wants to start? Judges?
It's Tom. I've got a question about the regulatory approval pathway. Can you share with us what your path forward is to gain the necessary approvals?
Absolutely. I'm just going to jump a little bit ahead here because we just have some information that might be helpful for that question. So this surgical tool is considered to be a Class 1 medical device. And I'm not so familiar with the intricacies of this regulatory framework, so I'm going to just call on Mitch to jump in here, if that's okay, Mitch.
Hi, thanks for the invite to answer. Brandon, if you have anything to add, please feel free. So a spatula is what we are currently trying to replace, and the spatula is a Class 1 device. And the nice thing about Class 1 devices is that 95% of them are exempt from the pre-market approval path, and that's very expensive, and it takes a lot longer than the spatula that we're currently working on. And so since there is a similar device, it also means that we qualify possibly for a 510K exemption. So that means that market approval doesn't necessarily require an application for 510K or PMA. And however, if it does, it's not a huge roadblock for us because it only takes 30 to 90 days and the cost is quite low. The reason I talk about the FDA, I know when we talked about the market, we placed it in Canada and also in Saskatchewan, very local. The reason why I talk about the FDA standard first, or regulatory approval, is because it's quite a natural progression to go from the FDA and then over to Canada. So for Canada, there's a possibility that it's a class 2, unlike the FDA. And the only reason for that is that there's 4 different classes instead of 3. So class 1 devices in Canada do not require an application, or the application does not have a fee, sorry. And if it is a class 2 device for a new company, it's only $300. Does that sort of answer the question?
It does. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. We have about 2 more minutes.
I've got one quick question. I'm wondering if you guys could explain how your license agreement works with, I guess, Innovation Enterprise, because it seems that your business is mostly based around subleasing out your license. So what kind of margins does that leave you with if you guys don't really own the patents or the complete license anyways?
Great question. Great question. Nick, do you want to maybe take this one?
Yeah, sure. So we're in talks with John Mapletop for the majority of the summer in discussions about this. And what we come to agree on is that we can't really afford to keep our company costs low. We settled on an agreement that gives them a 2% royalty versus their typical 1% or 3%. But that also includes 50% future patent costs as well as previous patent costs, where typically in most of the other license agreements that they pass on, we would have to pay for all of it. So it's by accepting a little bit 1% higher royalty rate, we're essentially cutting down on a lot of our costs at the time.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
That puts us right on schedule to 6:55. So thanks, guys. It's not easy. Good navigation with multiple presenters. Okay.
Thanks so much for the time, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so up next, we're gonna hear from Gan Lee. Is going to talk to us about a company called Thinkcrete around bridge rehabilitation.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me loud and clear? Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, my name is Gang Lee. I'm a PhD student in civil engineering. So my research is about the deterioration of infrastructures. And today I'm very excited to introduce my startup idea. It's called a Thinkcrete. We think about concrete and we tinker concrete. Our goal is to rehab bridge with confidence. So this is a shocking picture that shows a collapsed bridge. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, August, in Italy, it's a very famous Genoa bridge that's sitting at a very important artery in the European transportation system, connecting Italy and France. It killed 46 people in that incident. So 1 week after that, our team was on air with the Edmonton radio. We talk about the cost and the maintenance of the infrastructures in Canada. It drew a lot of attention on this issue. And the aging of infrastructure is really a growing pain, especially in developed countries, because we have so many aged structures. We preserve so well, but we face problems. Here's another example that in Saskatoon, Victoria Bridge, and it was completely permanently closed 10 years ago, and now it's reopened, replaced, but the closure time is about 8 years. That 8 years of closure brought too much inconvenience and also the economic cost to our taxpayers. So how do we tackle this problem? We come up with a solution that is called effective rehab at good timing. So how do we do that? This is our product, our service. So it consists of two components, the software and the hardware. The software is a deterioration model, which is a sophisticated model that simulates the deterioration mechanism happening inside the infrastructure. And the monitoring sensor was implemented in those structures to provide valuable data to make this model accurate. Well, in addition, we need field data so that our model represents the field condition. Those field data are actually the standard work from regular contractors or consulting companies. We just use that data, and together with the environmental factors, we can predict the specific deterioration mechanism at different stage in the service life of the structure. So we not only predict the problem, but we also tell what's the likelihood of the problem, so that with that probabilistic results, we can come up with a rehab solution. So this type of a rehab solution will have a very good schedule, right on the point, the correct timing, and with a very effective strategy targeting specific deterioration mechanism. And also it provides optimized life cycle cost. So that's all we need. And our customer is clearly the engineering consulting company. We improve their products and to deliver more innovative results to their customer. So the market is huge. Like even we look at the scale here, 1 out of 9 bridges in the US is facing immediately shutdown or rehabilitation, and the annual cost is greater than $200 billion. And if we take a look at our target market here locally, because we're just at a very early stage, Saskatoon is known as the city of the bridges. We have so many bridges, overpass, and a pedestrian crossing. And in Saskatchewan, as a stimulus plan, the provincial government just budget $5.2 million this year and coming year to replace or extend the service life of the current bridges. And also Saskatchewan as like a mining industry, home of the mining industry, effective last year, it becomes mandatory for those mine companies to come up with an asset management plan where the maintenance and rehabilitation of the infrastructure becomes big part of it. So those are all our markets, and we are serving our customer, which is the consulting company. So at this current stage, we have some some projects done. So the first one is the University Bridge. If you work in downtown, you drive on it every day. So we use our model to evaluate a different rehabilitation strategy, and it's optimized for one that will save $3.5 million over the next 50 years for the city. And for this one, we worked with the CH2M Hill consulting company. Not just the bridge, and also we look at the concrete silos. This time we worked with Zachary Consulting. We use our innovative moisture sensor and our model to successfully eliminate the proposed ineffective solution that will cost by millions of dollars. And by the way, the solution was proposed by the corrosion repair company, which is one of our competitors. And the current project we're on is on the Petrovka Bridge. It's over the North Saskatchewan River. We installed our sensors. This new invented corrosion sensor doesn't only give us the valuable data for the model, but also it's acting like an alarm. it will raise a flag when the bad things happen in the bridge without even showing on the surface. So that's a very innovative sensing technology out there. And because we are really at the early stage, currently our business model rely heavily on investment. We start to have the matching fund from the Saskatchewan Center of Excellence for Transportation and Infrastructure, $50,000, and later we got the accelerated funding from MyTech's project at $15,000. At this early stage, our commercial income comes from the consulting service provided based on projects charged at the hourly rate, and also the sensor sales. The next stage, we try to eliminate ourselves from the software itself, so it becomes a subscription-based SaaS model, and it reduce the cost and charge less for the routine job. And then we provide a packaged service, which is a tailored analysis and also our hardware, and charge 10% of the budget of the whole project. Usually it's about $1 to $2 million for a small project. The next stage, we try to expand our current project to 10 plus projects. If half of them will buy our whole package, that would be $500,000. And we also expand our business into the mine and agriculture industry. At this stage, we really need mentors to help us explore the market and help us with the education of our in our market. Because as a tech company in a low tech industry, the education is very important to adopt new customers. And we also need some seed money to develop our web app front end for the scaled up client base in the future. So our competitors are those commercial softwares. Usually they are very simplified model, tackle only one or two mechanisms, but our model is far more comprehensive. Our strength is very strong knowledge and easy to use. We add value to the consulting company, but not competing with them. And we are very flexible. From big projects to your driveway, we can all do that. Those strengths comes from our team members, myself as a research engineer and developer, and also our bridge engineer and two advisory committee members from the university. And that's our contact for now. And do you have any questions? I saved a lot of slides for the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, gang. Judges, who wants to talk bridge engineering?
So it's Tom. I studied bridge corrosion when I was studying in my engineering program many years ago. And so I'm trying to understand what is it that you're trying to detect with your sensor? You had some images of concrete bridges and some of steel bridges. Are you looking for deterioration of the rebar within a concrete structure or within the concrete system itself?
Okay, our data, okay, I'll show it here maybe. We model our object is reinforced concrete. So we look at the different stages. In the early stages, we look at the contamination of the concrete. At the corrosion development stage, we can model the corrosion rate. Then at the last danger zone, we model the structural behavior of the fractured reinforced concrete. So we tackle all those phenomena. And our sensor provide valuable data for the calibration of the model and also the validation of the model. For example, the corrosion sensor will compare with our predicted results to ensure it our model is valid.
Okay, thank you.
Rylan, Rick, or Mike?
Yeah, this is Mike here. So if you're trying to sell your product to these engineering consultants, you must have to compare to the competitors. It seems like you're sort of bidding for your use instead of theirs for a certain bridge or a certain project. So if there was kind of one main reason to choose you over the other guys, what's really the one go-to that you would be able to convince the consultants that you're the one to pick?
Okay, first question is like, why choose me? Because I add value to their current job, so they don't need to do extra work for me, and just to spend a little money, they get a lot of value added, so they can stand out when they submit their request for a proposal. They can distinguish them from other consulting company. So that's one thing. The other thing is why choose us rather than those commercial software is because those commercial softwares are made for very simplified case. For example, all of them are looking at the contamination of chloride alone. But we look at the contamination of chloride and also the breakdown of the membrane, and also if the chloride contaminates the concrete, how much life we left. Because quite often, even the concrete is contaminated, we still have quite a chunk of service life left, depending on the situation. So our model is more comprehensive, and so that it's more practical in terms of the service, real world service environment for the structure. And those softwares are too simplified.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, folks. By my clock, that's time. So thanks very much. Thanks for your pitch.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the questions.
Okay, next up, we have Nazanin Charchi and Hamid Zanjani are going to pitch us on their advanced technology for indoor air treatments.
Yes, I'm gonna share some slides. I guess you can see now. Can you see my slides? Good evening, everyone. My name is Nazan. I'm a PhD student in Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering. My teammate is Hamid, the gentleman in the right side of the picture, not the little one in the middle. He has background in chemical engineering and he's graduated from University of Saskatchewan, and he has worked across multiple industries. Today, Today we are going to present our technology for indoor air treatment. When people think of air pollution, most probably they would think of outdoor air pollution, something like smog, power plants, emission from cars and trucks. Yes, it's pollution, but it's related to outdoor air pollution, and indoor air can be polluted too. Every year, 7 million people die prematurely from air pollution, both indoor and outdoor, and 4 million of them die from indoor air pollution, and it has been ranked as one of the top 5 environmental health risks. And it is greatest threat to human than outdoor air pollution because it's far more concentrated with pollutants than outdoor air. And also, we spend almost 90% of our time indoors. There are many sources of indoor air pollution, as it can be seen in the picture, like many household products such as solvents, painting, cosmetics, food furniture and floors, carpet, cleaning and disinfecting, personal care products, and mold and fungi, cooking, tobacco, smoking, attached garages to the houses, and outdoor air pollution. Poor indoor air quality can cause sick building syndrome. It can affect people's skin, respiratory, and neurological system. And it has quite similar symptoms with cold and flu, and someone can mistakenly self-diagnose himself with cold or flu. And it can cause other problems like difficulty concentrating, allergy-like symptoms such as sneezing, and many other symptoms. It has been reported that about 30% of new and remodeled buildings suffer from poor indoor air quality. And for example, poor indoor air quality costs Australia almost $12 billion a year. And last but not least, these days everybody knows that pathogens such as viruses, and the most famous one is the COVID-19, can be transmitted in the air through aerosols and droplets. And this phenomena can cause pandemics like the one we are now experiencing. So it's important to remove these pollutants from the indoor air.
Thank you, Nazanin. Filtering the air can indeed help to remove harmful particles from indoor spaces. One study in 2018 showed Canada home air filters market is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 7.75% by 2023, predominantly on the back of implementation of standards and guidelines pertaining to indoor air quality by the government. However, these figures and numbers entirely changed after COVID-19 pandemic due to increasing per capita healthcare spending in the country and rising awareness about respiratory disorders and pathogens. The market is expected to observe a 42% growth in sales in various regions. Different techniques are used in air purifiers in the current market to accomplish indoor air purification. This includes HEPA filters, absorbents, electrostatic charges, or ionizers. As you can see from this picture, the HEPA segment is expected to have the highest growth during this period. One of the major reasons for the high dominance of this segment is HEPA filters are efficient to clean out around 99.97% of particulate pollutants such as pollen, dust, and along with irritating particles and pollutants. These filters, however, are less efficient in cleaning other chemicals, gases, mold, and on top of them, pathogens. Although these filters also require high maintenance as they need sometimes replacing in every 3 to 4 months.
Our solution is using advanced technology by applying ozone and catalysts. This technology can not only improve indoor air quality, but also can inactivate airborne bacteria and viruses such as COVID-19, as well as airborne mold and fungi. Our goal is to bring medical standard hygiene, sanitation, and air quality to any indoor space. The benefit of our system is it is cost effective, it has higher efficiency because it's able to remove both chemicals and gases from air, and it can remove mold and pathogens. Also, it has easier maintenance. It doesn't need to be replaced in a couple of months like filters. It is faster, and it won't produce any secondary pollutants like filters.
As a marketer, our most important responsibility is to find out the right customer and what they want or expect from our product. To find out the target market, at first we segmented the whole market as their characteristic. Our main endeavor is to reach the segment that will most likely buy our product or service. Basically, we split the market in two categories. First, consumer market, and second, industrial market. What it means is that our product can be manufactured as a standalone equipment and shipped directly to end customer. Being said, it falls in the first category. This product also can be added to the existing HVAC systems as an add-on feature. So in this case, our target customers are industrial HVAC and air conditioning companies. Our decision so far is to focus on industrial market, as it helps us to kill two birds with one stone. Uh, just to wrap up, I want to explain where we are at this moment. Basically, several years ago, the gist of the initial thinking made by our dear professor, Dr. Jafar Sultan. He has carried out extensive research into improving indoor air quality and removing pollutants. Then the fundamentals and concepts of this technology were developed and validated at small scale. Currently, we continue to attract additional resources and funding for further research and scaling up our system. We have been awarded an insert project to investigate the effectiveness of our technology in removing COVID-19. We also strive to show clear, growing, and measurable market traction. What we are specifically seeking out from this workshop is to get some advice and assistance to ensure we are on the right track, which ultimately leads us to important people and industries. So thank you for your attention, and we would be happy to answer your questions.
And perfectly on time. Thank you.
Just please accept my apology for not having a video. So just the last minute problem, my laptop kind of went down.
That's okay. We're in these times where every single one of us is going to have a technological problem at some point tonight. So no worries.
Yeah, thank you.
So questions, judges?
This is Rick here. I'm just kind of curious, have you guys done any preliminary research into how effective your catalyst technology is versus competing systems for cleaning any sort of airborne contaminants?
Yes, like one of the current systems are just using ozone without catalyst. By my note. Yes, without catalyst. And in our laboratory, we have done that one, and our system compared to the one without catalyst was much more effective. And for some of the chemicals in the air, for example, some of them like ethylene, or it has different like application. And for example, toluene, acetone, benzene, these chemicals in the air, our system was much more effective with higher conversion and higher selectivity. For example, without catalyst, just reaction of ozone with these chemicals would produce dangerous byproduct if it reacts with them, because the nature of reaction of ozone with gases in the air, it's very slow and it would take a time. And if you, for example, go for these technologies with ozone, you will see that, like they are saying, that it will take a time, for example, like a couple of hours based on the size to treat that air. But our system compared to that one is very fast. Like it's happening just very quickly and without any harmful byproducts. Totally safe.
Just I want to quickly add one more thing. So in terms of pathogens, the project that we've been awarded by INSERT is kind of brand new project. We have developed a specific system and set up for this project. We have started manufacturing our system. Hopefully by a month or two, we are able to get the first batches of the result in terms of COVID-19 and representative pathogens.
Great, thank you.
Welcome, yeah.
Rylan here. What does your solution kind of look like? Are you planning to actually build these things? Is it going to be a replacement for existing filters as like a better kind of filter? Or do you just want to license it to people that already make this stuff? Or how do you see this coming to market?
Oh, I'll take this one. So as I mentioned during the presentation, we have two streams to move forward. So so far, I know that Nazanin has done, and with the help of Dr. Sultan, they have done a lot to patent this technology. So almost the midway, not completed yet. So and from the other side, we have been in touch with some industrial partners, namely Engineered Air, one of the leading companies in terms of HVAC in Canada. So we have the first kind of talks with them, so to kind of see what happens.
Okay.
Yep.
So Mike here. Is there any idea on the pricing of your system once it becomes available?
Basically, our idea is that it is almost comparable with the existing equipment, because in terms of just adding one add-on feature to the existing equipment, so it would be just the catalyst side. So it doesn't generate a lot of cost to the existing one. However, what we expect is somewhere between 10 to 15% extra cost because of these extra features that our system adds to the existing HVAC systems.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, thanks very much. That's time for this one.
Yeah,
So
thank you
thanks
so much for your time.
Thank you for your pitch. And now I think we can go back up the list. I hope we can go back up to the list. We have one more presenter, Nelson Wani from Autumn. He was having his technical difficulties earlier. Tate, do we have Nelson?
Hi there, can you guys hear me?
Hi, there you are, Nelson. Yeah, okay. So last but not least, Nelson Wani is going to talk to us about Autumn, transforming workplace productivity for manufacturers. Take it away, Nelson.
All right, thank you. Apologize, I'm in the middle of nowhere, BC, in a McDonald's, so let me know if you miss what I'm saying, and I'll try again. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. Perfect. My name is Nelson. I'm founder and CEO of Autumn, and the mandate is bold but simple. We're aiming to transform manufacturing productivity. Before I started this company, I went to almost 80 businesses in Saskatoon and asked them to identify their biggest pain point. And the biggest pain, similar pain, was in manufacturing. And after doing my homework, I came back with some iterations, and they said, Nelson, if you can solve this problem, the approach that you've outlined, we'd be more than happy to pay for it. And we did that before writing a line of code. Now, that pain problem is this. A manufacturing company is generally determined, its success is determined by how much material it can turn from raw into like produced goods. And it's no secret that countries like China are doing incredibly well in creating more throughput than any of our North American cousins. But our greatest asset is our knowledge workers, our machinists, our technologists, and engineers, and therein lies the pain. A quote that the idea is manufacturers' most significant bottleneck is our human operations. Professionals are tasked to do slow, repetitive, error-prone work in order to maintain that quality, time that could be otherwise optimized for production and optimizing that throughput. A quote from the AME is manufacturers must replace up to 3 million baby boomers over the next decade and find workers with digital skills. That's because the machines are becoming more digital, the machines are becoming quicker, and we need to change our workforce in order to be more quicker and stay up to speed. If it's a big enough problem, you might ask, Nelson, why hasn't it been solved? A lot of off-the-shelf solutions have tried to solve this problem, but the workforce, the actual people that do the work, are always an afterthought. No software that we've seen has any workforce communication. All software we've seen only is focused for office and planning work, quarterly planning, their accountants, and not on the workforce productivity. And these are monolithic platforms with tight integrations. They do a lot of things, but they don't do anything particularly well. Now, people have noticed this and decided we're going to build our own in-house solution. But like with any in-house solution, they're expensive to build and upkeep. We just talked to a client that just finished spending a year and $600,000 to build an in-house solution. These solutions don't have maintenance or any evolution. They're built once and they stay there for up to 20 years, like Nutana in our backyard. And oftentimes they have bad user experience for new and existing hires because they're not built to be used effectively. They're built to hold information. Our solution is simple: to build modern productivity software that's tailored for manufacturing. What 7shifts did for the restaurant industry, what Coconut Calendar did for executives, we plan to do for the entire manufacturing industry. And that comes in 4 parts. 1, remove printing and management and processing of all shop documentation, completely digital. We automate the compliance and quality checks so humans don't have to go through and do it themselves. We allow operators, supervisors, and PMs to manage their entire workforce remotely. And we allow them to queue related communications so that the work is never stalled and people aren't always coming back to the supervisor for their next job. These pictures that I'm showing you are real pictures that I got from my email from clients we're talking to that have said this is how our shop floor operates. In fact, these are some of the most modern shops out there. And all these companies have paid for softwares that claim to solve the manufacturing problem, but they use these methods because those softwares don't work. These whiteboards, these clipboards is how they've solved that scheduling problem. Now, Autumn makes tomorrow this simple. We take what they've already done with those whiteboards and we make them digital. We allow them to queue work-related work or work-related tasks, and we allow them to set permissions. So on the right side, as an operator, I can only see the information that I'm privy to and know exactly what work I have to do after I'm finished this one, and not work on stuff I'm not qualified for. Moving to this digital hemisphere allows us to do all those things I mentioned in the beginning. We allow you to do that work-related online communications to open up that visibility. We digitize all that documentation so that you can share, annotate, and keep your revisions up to date. We automate all your quality assurance and your compliances. And because everything moves into the digital hemisphere, we can track when people are doing, who's working on what, and allow them to have analytics that they would have never had before because now everything is digital. So why now? Let me reiterate, manufacturers must replace almost 3 million baby boomers over the next decade and find people with digital skills. The workforce is aging and new entrants are more digitally adept. They want to adopt more digital tools. Labor costs are increasing, so human productivity is a higher priority. And new technologies like iPad, even though it's old to us, it's relatively new in the scheme of things, are things that we can now bring into a very harsh environment that they couldn't otherwise do before. Our market size, our immediate addressable market, all the people that we could service tomorrow without little to no feature change in our existing product is 1.7 billion individuals. That's custom manufacturers, structural steel, grain bin makers. Anyone that turns engineered drawing into finished parts. Our total addressable market, these are cabinet makers, anyone that isn't an automotive manufacturer, a tobacco maker, or Coca-Cola and Pepsi, anyone that uses the same machines to make different parts, that's our total addressable market. Our business model is simple and we average out at $20,000 a year. Like I said, there's a lot of people in this industry and we're the only ones that solve the problem that we're addressing, which is maintaining operations control in a low volume, high mix industry. Our competitive advantage, and I'll just skim through this, is that we're ERP agnostic. It doesn't matter what software you have existing, we're completely self-standing. We're first to market because we're an early entrant in manufacturing SaaS innovation. And everyone that's built for the office first has failed. We are shop floor first by design, and we plan to remain that way. Our traction this week's been super exciting for us. This 17th of this month, we have our first live production deployment. We're in 4 deployment discussions that hopefully will put us in 3 shops by the end of next month. And we've got 17 customer advisory board members, people that all have beta access to the product as it exists. This is our team. Dalen has led engineering at 2 different startups. Jordan has built sales at Brillist from the ground up. And then there's myself. We're looking to hopefully scale by December and open up our first seed round. And what we're looking for is mentors that'll help us become an investable company between now and Christmas. My contact information is on the screen. I look forward to hearing any questions that you might have. Thank you.
I'm not gonna say that it was, oh my God, I think I see myself on Nelson's screen now.
Oh, jeez.
it's like some kind of science fiction movie there. Okay, so we got 5 minutes. Judges, questions? Anyone who wants to jump in first?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, this is Mike here. So to turn a manufacturing company more into the digital space with your product, I would imagine there's so much analog data written down in certain places, and you kind of said, I think near the beginning, that all of that would be translated into your digital application. So what does that part look like, and is it actually feasible to get a bunch of different manufacturing companies to put all their written down data into your application so that they can actually start using it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'll try to answer that as best as I can. The first part, getting data into the software, we charge a 15% setup fee that allows us to take all your employee information, your existing customers, and put it into the software to make it easy. And that's a 15% setup fee in the first year. The second part to that is how they end up, is it feasible to move that written data into a digital space? Where we sit at the shop floor level from supervisor or tech lead, and then the rest of the workforce. Oftentimes, the engineers and PM managers will bundle up all the documentation and instruction and send it in an email. So oftentimes it's already digital and it's being taken from the digital space and then written down or printed and then being distributed. We just allow you to maintain that digital, kind of space. So we don't necessarily try to make you shift your work to do something entirely new. We just allow that kind of fluidity from email and PDFs and maintain it digital as opposed to printing and rewriting it.
Okay, cool. Thanks for answering the question.
Hey Nelson, it's Rick. It's always good to hear from you. My question kind of builds on Mike's question. Is what is the scalability of this? Like, how much customization do you have to do with each customer before you can kind of move on to the next customer?
So for us, it's almost little to none. We actually, I should say, with the 4 people that we're deploying to, we're deploying the exact same product. No customization. And that's because the niche that we're currently focusing on, that immediately addressable market, is very similar. Take engineered drawings, break those up into components, send those components to the shop guys to work on through the floor and prioritize it. It's such a similar industry that they almost all manage it exactly the same way. And so, yeah, we're just very fortunate in our niche that when it comes to where we kind of sit in the scope of like your shop floor networking, next week on the 17th, we'll be deploying to a shop of 55 people. And I'm currently in BC because we're talking deployment to a shop with only 4 people. And they're using the exact same product in the exact same way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Tom or Rylan, do you have anything for Nelson?
I can think of, actually, I think it was a pretty well-rounded presentation. Some experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hearing no further questions. Awesome. Thanks very much, Nelson.
Thank you so much, Alex.
It's like you brought your own soundtrack there.
Yeah, McDonald's plays some bangers in here.
Okay. I don't know what's happening on everybody else's end, but yeah, Nelson's still like occupying my my whole display. Okay, cool. I think that's our six presentations, our 6 pitches, 6 teams of entrepreneurs. Thanks everybody. I always say I don't know if I could do what you guys do, have all these great ideas, work hard on them, and then talk about them in front of people like this. It's not easy to do for sure, and it's not easy to do in this format, but yeah, you guys all did a really good job. Tate, I think now on my schedule, I have that we have some maybe judge conversation, or what happens next, Tate?
Hi, I'm back on too. So thank you for all the presenters, and thank you for Alex for like MC, and then all the judges for the good conversation. So if you finish your pitch rubrics, please submit. I'll send that to you as a group email, and then I will start the breakout room session for the judges, so you can have a conversation and talk about the possibilities for different rankings, and see we are deciding for the number 1 team to win $5,000, and the second place will have $1,000 cash, and the third place will have $500. Along with that, we'll also have our very proud trophy, which I will actually hold on to on behalf of whoever wins. So I see that the judges' results are coming in now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have moved the judges to the breakout room session. Please go into the breakout room session, have your discussion. And in the meanwhile, I will address some of the formats and what's happening next. So for our week, a lot of you may be new to the entrepreneurship arena, and this is really new to us as well. This is the very first time we're doing this fully online, and I hope all the participants and people who are joining us to watch it on YouTube also had a great experience. I want to again thank all our judges as they're in the breakout room debating the feasibility and all the ideas from our students. I want to thank them for taking the time and coming in. All of them are great alumni and supporters for the entrepreneurship activity in Saskatchewan, and they have been real champion to help us. For those of you who are interested, what happened in this last week, the workshop is we actually put the students going through a quite intensive and concentrated program. From day one, we had Dr. Shamel, Joe Fry, and a lawyer friend, Joe Gill, coming in, and they talked about the ideas, team, and law. On day two, we learned about how to actually segment market with myself, and had a industry panel experts with Lyle from Federated Co-op, with Neil Anderson from Skillshark, and Ben Voss, is very experienced CEO, has been in multiple companies. And they really explained how to actually position yourself to a market and how to connect the different part of the value chain in the industry. On day three, Lee Swanson from Edward School of Business came in, talked about business model. I talked a little bit about how to make sales and the presentation. And we were very privileged to have a panel of investors coming in. So Tom coming in, talk about from the angel investor. So it's Jay Palmer, the co-founder of Pixar. He's currently now had a successful exit with Investgrad. Lori came in for PIC and Sean from Connects. And we also were very privileged to have Ashnika from Shuda coming in to talk about what the public system, what the government can do, and to help our entrepreneurs. So from there, our students had basically a very condensed exposure and a way to think about what they need to do. And many of them moved a long way in terms of 3-4 days. Day 4, we are very privileged again. One of my great colleague and also fellow biomedical engineer, Aaron Scott, a senior lecturer from MIT, came in to talk about the different type of strategy. Our students are still trying to observe and understand the strategy and then work that into their firms. But I think this will set them up well. So as I'm trying to buy the judges some time, this is a shameless promotion. So the workshop we're offering is really a quick snapshot of what we're offering in College of Engineering in collaboration with Edward School of Business, as what we call Technical Innovation Program. It's a certificate program specifically for our engineering students. And in many ways, there are courses you can take. What you've seen, what these teams have done in the last week is really the first few lectures in the GE 341 venture creation course I offer in winter term. We also have the GE 495 product design, as Nick and his team are in, and strategy management as Nazanin are in, and many of them had gone through the speaker series, which is open to any grade level. And the intellectual property strategy is really useful, as you see how many of discussions are there tonight. So if you are interested to talk more about entrepreneurship, I'm always here to talk. Again, I'm Tate in the College of Engineering. My contact information is here. Feel free to send an email and set up a meeting with me. I'm happy to support you and connect you to the great community we have in Saskatchewan to help you to be successful. As the judges are still deciding on the results, I'm going to give us a break. Please stay in tune, and we'll come back in a couple minutes to announce who is the real big winner. All right, welcome back. It took a while, but I think we have the results found out and figured out.
I think Alex was just figuring out how to join back into this main session here.
Let me see if I can move her back. Expel. Oh, I don't want to expel her.
It says all sessions will close in 13 seconds, so
Okay, yeah. That'll work then.
it might just be forced back here.
Oh,
Okay. Hi, everyone. I think I made a joke earlier that everyone will have at least one technical difficulty during the evening. And WebEx is so slick with these little breakout rooms, except Rick and I got stuck in the breakout room, couldn't volunteer. We had to wait for it to count us down. So we had a nice chat.
That's good. I think maybe just let's wait for 1 second. I think I had a some issue with the live streaming. Oh, we're back on.
Yay, welcome back to the live streaming and everyone else. So again, yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks to all the pitchers for their hard work. Tate, I know you put in a lot of work to this, and also you had a lot of panelists and presenters and guest speakers and everything over the course of the week as well. So yeah, I think it's looked like a pretty cool program, and I hope everybody learned some things and is going to go away, take away some great tools. So yeah, in our WebEx breakout room there, the judges, we had some good discussion. It wasn't easy. There's a few of these pitches that were really close to one another that we had to have some debate on, but we were able to come down to the top 3 pitches. As Tate said, it's for all the money, lots of money. Third place, I believe, receives $500, right, Tate? Thumbs up. So in third place, we have congratulations, Autumn and Nelson Wani. Everybody give Autumn a hand.
Amazing. Thank you, guys.
Congrats, Nelson.
I know you're very practical, but maybe you can use part of your $500 to, I don't know, get a hotel room or something so you don't have to stay at McDonald's. And in second place, and I believe that's $1,000, we have Coble, and that was Dawson and Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you guys. Yeah, everybody agreed that you had a real good pitch. You did a good presentation. It feels like it's a neat idea, and if you move fast, you can win if you move fast. So take your $1,000 and move fast.
Thanks.
And in first place, I don't know, drum roll, Tate. First place, I think it's $5,000, goes to Novita and the wonderful trophy. So that goes to Andrew, Nick, Brandon, and Mitchell. Where are you guys?
Wow. Wonderful.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Jeez.
Wow. This is incredible. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everyone, for the great week and all the mentorship and help that the people have been this week, and for giving us a great platform to be able to present our idea. Albeit in its early stages, we think we can go quite a ways with this one. So thank you so much for all the help.
Applause. WebEx applause. Well, thanks very much. Thanks to the judges. It was fun conversation and good questions. And Tate, we'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. And thank you for all the judges for your. I think this has been a good pitch. It was almost one of the situation I recognize. I wish we had more money to invest in all the companies so that they can go far. But in any ways, we wish you all the good luck. And we're here. We want to invest in you. Even if you didn't win money this time, don't be discouraged. Don't give up. You're on the right track. Continue working on that. I remember when I worked with Nick this throughout summer and Dawson, their ideas slowly coming together. I often say entrepreneurship is very much like painting. You are starting to do some sketches. You want to paint Mona Lisa, but it won't be like that from day one. It will take some time, and you will get there. So keep pushing, and any support you need, we're here in the College of Engineering and University of Saskatchewan. We have support, and we'll give all the we can. And we have a great community here from collabs, from all the local companies, as you can see, and the investors. So do not be shy, step up, and you can make a difference in the world. And anyway, I won't keep you long. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I wish you all have a great Thanksgiving weekend and enjoy the holidays.
Thank you so much, Tate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Yeah, good job, everyone. Well done.
Yeah, congratulations. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I had my phone on mute there when you messaged me. I didn't want any distractions during the thing. So.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Just give me a second. I'll stop the live streaming. Otherwise, we go here. All right. And all right, I think like it's just 2 of us now.
Sorry?
Oh, I think it's just 2 of us now. Like, and it's streaming.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you guys had some serious debates in there.
Yeah, we narrowed it down to the top 3 easily. And then it was just sorting out which of the we all thought those 3 were in the top 3, and then we just had to figure out the order. It wasn't a big deal. And then Tom brought in a lot of insight to the manufacturing and Autumn.
Yeah.
And how we would rank that. And then the only thing that we had to discuss extra is he thought that the concrete one was really strong, and just relative to the other ones, we thought it wasn't as far along. It was much more in the idea stage. So.
Yeah. I think had he started like a couple of months ago, like the other teams, he would be a strong one because he actually has some technology that really can
absolutely
be valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, and even compared to last night, it was way better, way better. Yeah, it was just like I struggle with the hernia device just in their ability to execute, because I know going into that medical market, I don't know, but the others thought that was the strongest one. I think I actually like that Kobo one. I don't know if it's going to be huge or not, or this or that, but the fact that they've already talked to those band managers and hustle, and they've got the customers, and I don't know, honestly, it's actually not that hard to build what they want. Like, you could almost build that with WordPress and some plugins in a couple of weeks and have a prototype going, kind of thing. And if they can get those band people to actually sign up for it right away, kind of thing, or like, get them adopted, they could potentially have something that flies, right? So anyway, just interesting. And Autumn was good. but like I said, Tom had some big problems. He's got a lot of manufacturing experience, and he had a lot of I don't know, just concerns about the ability to actually do what he wants to do. I guess he said welders lay down welding, or what do you say, lay down metal, and the machinists make chips. And he said what Autumn wants to do is kind of taking value added something or other. And he said the problem he feels is much more on the corporate side, like in the planning and whatever else in the office. So
okay, yeah, well, could be, and that's the part where, for me personally, I like Nelson, so I want to give him more money.
Yep.
And but see, like, this is where, like, I removed myself from it, because I work with these guys constantly. I'm biased.
Yep.
So it's better to have a non-biased panel to decide this.
Yep.
So that we can actually have that.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. If Tom wasn't there, I think it would have been different. I think he would have been a lot higher. But like I said, Tom has he's a manufacturing expert kind of thing from his previous stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And I mean, they were all really good for their own reasons, right? And it wasn't easy. That's why it took us an extra few minutes. So, and honestly, like, I think if the ThinkCrete guy came back and did this program again, I bet you he would be in the top couple. Like you said, it was just because he wasn't as far along. So
yeah, I might actually try to connect with him, and I think it actually is. I hope this has been good for the graduate students too. In some ways, I think they showcase that there are some business cases there. I was kind of cheering for him, hoping he at least gets a third, so then some of the students can move along. But I think if we do this again sometime in the future and give them more time, I think some of them could go quite a bit further along.
Yeah.
And then I actually had some secret investors who was watching. They approached me last week. Oh yeah, I guess Thursday was yesterday, wasn't it? Jeez. Hey, yeah. I had some long hours. I couldn't. Yeah, you were there too. But you were quiet this morning. I spent too much time with these guys. I feel I know of them too well by now. Those group of people, they're at Calgary. They want to invite some of the people to go and preach, pitch. They really like Andrew and then the biomedical device too. So, we always wanted a win for the design class. So this might be it.
I'll take a win any way I can get it. And it was tough because honestly, it wasn't clear, and this isn't any fault, but I felt it wasn't clear on what we should exactly be judging them on. As in, are we voting the one who's most likely to be successful, or the one who's gonna potentially have the biggest win, or the one who's you know what I mean? Like, there's different characteristics, because some of these ones could be absolutely home runs, the easiest to execute, because Autumn you could whip up really fast, might be really big, but they could also be wiped out by Ticketmaster tomorrow. The hernia thing could go really big, but trying to do a medical device, it's just a million different things. It just depends on, on what you're trying to move, vote on, kind of thing, right? So
yeah, for sure. And then that's the challenge of this type of thing, because however you decide, it's going to be biased. Yeah. But I think this will be okay in some way. I think one of the things is the medical device group improved the most in terms of, I think they actually understood the advice I gave them more, and then they made some changes so that it become a little bit more convincing today, I think, than last night.
Yes.
Where Nelson completely missed the mentorship session he scheduled with me. I think he didn't really do just to what he wants to do, so that wasn't too good.
I agree. And honestly, if you want to win this, you don't do this in McDonald's, right? And I understand we all have technical problems, but you find time to test stuff, to prep stuff, to make sure your ducks are lined up. And that's the kind of thing that can separate you. And actually, Rick mentioned that a few others. It's like, you know, if you really want to win this, you polish the shit out of your stuff, and you make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed and that kind of stuff. And I'm a fan of him, but he needs to put some of that in if he wants to pull some of that off. So.
Well, and then like I was disappointed because like just go to Starbucks or like a slightly upper scale coffee shop would have done the job.
Right.
Even if you don't want to spend a lot of money. Like McDonald's, it's just the nature and then the timing of it. It won't work great for him. I think he'd be better off to actually find like a small like chain, and then I think I like Nelson, but I think he needs some mentorship on those things, and then realizing, you know, at some point, like just a little bit more polished work will help him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this will be interesting. Like next class, I'm gonna ask Nick to share something we learned here, and hopefully we'll put the guys in design class in shape a little bit better too.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yep. Start whipping them up a little bit, and yep. Cool. Well, if that's all good, then I'm gonna roll here because I'm getting hungry. So.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Yeah, I will see you next week, right? On Tuesday, yeah. Cool. Oh, the 29th and hang on, let me just look here. Thursday. Okay, so I think no, that's okay. And then 15, 16. Yeah, actually might be okay. I just found out that I got picked or asked or whatever to be on the entrepreneurship, the G20 thing coming up.
Nice.
Which is cool, but they want me to book my schedule like all day for the 29th and 30th. And then they have some other training sessions on the 15th and 16th or something like that. So anyway, I don't think it'll affect our meetings. I just quickly looked here, but I just found that out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks for letting me know. Let me know if that changes. So which what panel is this again?
So Futurepreneur, which is the national entrepreneurship thing there. So you know the G20, the where all the governments go and meet and stuff. Top 20 countries. So this is like a side panel session for that. Like they have a side symposium. So normally you fly there and do it. So this year it's hosted by Saudi Arabia. Now
Not going to Saudi Arabia, hey?
It would have been a fun trip, but not with the COVID, right? I'd have to be. You'd be gone for 10 days, and honestly, I can handle that. But it's the 2 weeks of isolation where I have to do nothing. It's like, well, I can't be out of commission for a month. So, yeah. So kind of cool. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah, you should let me know like what happens there.
I definitely will. And there was some in one of the letters or whatever. They said that one of the requirements is they want us to share some of the stuff that we know with local entrepreneurs or this or that or whatever. So there might even be a way to fit it into the class or into the university or something like that or whatever.
Yeah. Like if you can do that, that would be great because I think nowadays that's just the part, right? Like I'm not a big fan of taking investment early on, but some companies it makes sense. Like Kobo, like that music platform.
Yep.
They want to stand a chance. They need like pumping in cash to go fast. Otherwise, the other guys are just gonna wipe them out.
Yep. I see. I think if there is a problem there for them to solve, I think they're going to hit that easy. And what I mean by that is if that's a little niche and all those, if they can get one band or like all these managers to sign up for it, there's very little cost for the managers to sign, right?
You know, I've been trying to get them to actually do a automated form rather than designing an app and then just fake it until
a mobile web, like just a mobile web. I'll call it a web app. Like don't build a full app, just build a web page that's mobile, like what Dave Khalil was talking about for design last year. Build one of those and then get everybody to sign up like get all the band managers to load their stuff in. I can almost tell them how to do it off the top of my head with some WordPress and some plugins just to get a proof of concept going.
No, you know the problem is Jay. I think he's an app developer and he's kind of in love with that, and
Yeah.
he wants to make his meaningful contribution. But I've been telling them that don't waste your engineer hours on that. To do something more meaningful. But
yeah, I mean, maybe one day build an app, but not to get this thing going, not to get the adoption, right? Like if they could get this thing flying fast, I can't see them selling for $400 million kind of thing, but I could see them building it and you get a handful of bands and then it spreads a little bit like that. And then boom, all of a sudden they're all of a sudden was it MySpace or whatever, right? They're the modern version of MySpace kind of thing.
yeah. Then like take a couple $1 million win, like it's pretty good too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Have a good long weekend here. Enjoy some turkey and whatnot. And I will talk to you next week there.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, enjoy the long weekend as well.
I will. Alrighty, we'll catch you later.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.